Hello everyone and welcome to this exciting chemistry journey. Today, we are diving into a fascinating topic, concentration of solution, mass by mass percent and mass by volume percent. Ever wondered how much salt is exactly in your food or how strong a medicine dose is? That's what concentration helps us understand. We'll explore this concept from the basics to advanced applications, covering easy, medium, hard, and even the hardest aspects. Get ready to unlock the secrets behind how we quantify mixtures. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is a solution, and why do we even need to talk about its concentration? It's easier than you think. First, a solution is a special kind of mixture, a homogeneous one. This means everything is uniformly mixed, like sugar in water. We have two key players, the solute, which dissolves, and the solvent, which does the dissolving. Think of sugar as the solute and water as the solvent. Now, concentration simply tells us how much solute is in a given amount of solution. We can describe it qualitatively as dilute or concentrated, but in chemistry, we need exact numbers. That's where quantitative methods come in. One of the most common ways to express concentration quantitatively is mass by mass percentage. It's super straightforward. You take the mass of the solute divided by the total mass of the solution, which is solute plus solvent, and multiply by 100. For example, if you dissolve 20 grams of salt in 80 grams of water, your total solution mass is 100 grams. So, 20 divided by 100 multiplied by 100 gives you a 20% mass by mass solution. Simple, right? Time to test your understanding with some practice questions. Take a moment to calculate these. These will help solidify your grasp on mass by mass percentage calculations. Pause the video if you need more time to work them out. Good luck! Now that we've mastered mass by mass percentage, let's explore another crucial way to measure concentration, mass by volume percentage. This is especially relevant in many real-world applications. Let's quickly recap mass by mass percentage. It's excellent for situations where temperature doesn't play a big role or when you're dealing with solid components. But what if you're working with liquids, like in medicines? That's where mass by volume percentage becomes incredibly useful. It's the mass of solute in 100 parts by volume of the solution. Imagine a cough syrup, its active ingredient is often measured this way. The formula for mass by volume percentage is similar, mass of solute divided by the volume of the asterisk solution asterisk, then multiplied by 100. Here, the mass is usually in grams and the volume in milliliters. For instance, if you dissolve 25 grams of glucose to make 250 milliliters of solution, that's a 10% mass by volume solution. It's super convenient for pharmaceutical industries, where liquid doses are measured by volume. So, why do we have different percentage units? Each has its advantages. Mass by mass percentage is stable with temperature changes, as mass doesn't fluctuate. Mass by volume percentage, while slightly temperature dependent due to volume changes, is very practical for preparing and dispensing liquid solutions. Choosing the right unit depends on what you're trying to achieve and the context of your application. Always remember to specify which percentage you're using. Here are some practice questions to challenge your understanding of both mass by mass and mass by volume percentages. Try to apply the correct formulas and think about the units involved. Don't forget that sometimes you'll need to calculate the total mass or total volume first. Give them a try. Ready to go deeper? In the hard level, we'll compare these two concentration types more closely, explore their limitations, and see how they connect to other important chemical concepts. Let's compare mass by mass and mass by volume percentages side by side. Mass by mass is based purely on masses, making it temperature independent and ideal for precise chemical analysis where mass is key. Mass by volume, on the other hand, involves volume, which can change with temperature. However, its practicality in fields like medicine, where solutions are dispensed by volume, makes it indispensable. Understanding these nuances helps us choose the right unit for the job. Beyond simple calculations, it's vital to remember that there's a limit to how much solute can dissolve. This is called solubility. When a solution can't dissolve any more solute at a given temperature, it's saturated. Factors like temperature significantly affect solubility. For most solids, higher temperatures mean more can dissolve. This directly impacts the maximum concentration a solution can achieve. Finally, let's talk about interconversion and dilution. Sometimes you'll have a concentration in one unit and need it in another. This is where the solution's density becomes your best friend, allowing you to convert between mass and volume. Also, remember that when you dilute a solution by adding more solvent, the asterisk amount of solute asterisk remains constant, only its concentration changes. These concepts are fundamental for more complex problem solving. Now, it's time for some harder practice questions. These problems will require you to apply multiple concepts, including interconversion using density and understanding the implications of dilution. Read each question carefully and think critically about the steps needed to solve them. You've got this. All right, chemists, brace yourselves. We are now entering the hardest level. Here, we'll explore advanced applications, delve into the limitations of percentage concentrations, discuss precise lab techniques, and even touch upon what comes next in the world of concentration units. Percentage concentrations are not just textbook concepts, they are the backbone of countless real-world applications. Think about the saline solutions used in hospitals, the precise drug dosages in medicines, or the sugar content in your favorite drinks. Even environmental monitoring of pollutants, though often using parts per million, builds on the percentage idea. In every case, accuracy in concentration is paramount for safety, efficacy, and quality control across industries. While super useful, percentage concentrations do have their limits. Volume-based percentages can fluctuate with temperature, which isn't ideal for highly precise work. More fundamentally, they don't tell us the asterisk number asterisk of chemical particles, which is crucial for understanding how chemicals react. This is why, in higher chemistry, you'll encounter units like molarity, which directly relates to moles. We also need to be precise in the lab. Preparing solutions accurately requires specific equipment like volumetric flasks and careful techniques to ensure the final volume is exact. Accurate solution preparation is an art and a science. For mass-by-mass solutions, it's all about precise weighing of both solute and solvent. But for mass-by-volume solutions, which are common in many labs, we use special volumetric flasks. You weigh the solute, dissolve it in a small amount of solvent, then carefully add more solvent right up to the flask's calibration mark at a specific temperature. This ensures the final volume is exact, which is critical for consistent and reliable results in experiments. Finally, let's connect the dots. The density of a solution is your key to converting between mass by mass and mass by volume percentages. If you know one, and you have the solution's density, you can calculate the other. This interconversion is a powerful tool for chemists. It allows us to work with whichever concentration unit is most convenient or appropriate for a specific task, highlighting the versatility and interconnectedness of these fundamental concepts. Now for the ultimate challenge. These first 5 hardest questions will push your understanding, requiring you to integrate multiple concepts, perform multi-step calculations, and think critically about the implications of different concentration units. Take your time, analyze each problem, and apply everything you've learned. You're ready for this. And here are the final 5 questions. These will further test your ability to apply advanced concepts, explain reasoning, and even touch upon some broader implications of concentration in science and industry. Don't be afraid to think outside the box and connect ideas. Completing these will demonstrate a truly deep understanding of solution concentration. Good luck! Congratulations, future chemists! You've just completed an in-depth exploration of solution concentration, mastering mass by mass and mass by volume percentages from easy calculations to their complex real-world applications. You now have a solid foundation for understanding how we quantify mixtures. To continue your learning journey and explore more fascinating topics, visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing educational content. Keep learning, keep exploring.